What's Gucci, everybody? It's AJ here again, and today I'm going to be talking about typedef, another keyword in C that can be used to substitute other types, or as I like to think of it, keywords in C. Let me show you guys an example. So as I said, typedef can mask other types. So all I have to do is type in typedef like that, type and then DEF, short for type definition. And then let's say I want to substitute another word for an integer. So I can type in int, and then I can type in, let's say I want to make another type called dollar, D, capital D, then I put a semicolon. And now what typedef did is that if it's going to look into the code below and it's going to say, okay, hey, is there anything of type dollar? Well, I'm going to substitute that for int when it runs the code. So now instead of putting int and then a variable name, I can put dollar and then a variable name. So we're going to name it dollar, and then we're going to say we're going to call it GW for George Washington, and I'm going to say equals 2. And I always like to print it out. And I can print it out just like an integer, and it's treated just like an integer, except it has type dollar. And as you can see, as I ran it here, and it says it's 2. And I can also do this with pointers as well, which makes it really cool. And let's say all I gotta do is add int and then a little pointer symbol. And let's see, what do I want to call this? I'll just call this, actually I'll make this typedef double, and I'll make it a double pointer, and I'll call it sense. And now let's see, well, I need to make a double I equal to 2.2. Well, I'll make it 3.14 just because it's a few days past Pi Day. And let's see, and now I'm going to make my type definition. So sense, and I should not make that all caps. Gosh. And sense, and let's call it money, and I'm going to give it the address of I. That's completely okay because they're the same type, just defined differently. And now I'm going to print that out. %f, comma, we're going to indeference money, and see if that works. I'm going to put a new line character up here so they print on different lines. I'm going to print this out, and there we go, 2 and 3.14. Now, as you can see, typedef can be used to mask integer, regular types and pointer types, which should come at no surprise as they're pretty closely related. But what's also really cool, and the number one thing I like about type definition, is that you can use it to mask, easily make struct types, enum types, and union types easier to read. So now I'm going to use typedef with a union, with a structure. So I'm going to type typedef struct, make my brackets. Remember, I have to put a semicolon right there. If you're not using Eclipse, it doesn't do it automatically for you. And I need to put a name here. And what this name here is going to do, it's going to typedef. It's going to substitute the name I put here for the structure. So I don't have to type the structure and the type. I can just type the, this word I'm about to say. So let me say, make it cowboy. And there we go. And cowboy, let's make cowboy have an integer, int I, int, well, let's make him have friends, and let's make him have a nickname. Let's make him have a char nickname. So char nickname, and there we go. So now, as you can see here, remember you have to have cowboy after the brackets and before the semicolon. And what you can do now here is I can substitute an entire structure with just cowboy. So if I wanted to, I could go down here and say cowboy. Let's see, what's the name? Woody from Toy Story equals, and then initialize my structure here, and let's call he's the number 1, and his nickname is W because he's Woody. And as you see right there, I just substituted, instead of typing structure Woody, I can just type in cowboy, or structure cowboy Woody. I can just type in cowboy Woody, and that's really cool. So I can just look up here and say, oh, that means the structure that cowboy is and know what's in there. So structures can make things really readable and easy to look through program code. Some programmers don't like using them obsessively, as you'd constantly have to check up and down what you initialize a type definition of, but they do make code really easily. So I know I have a cowboy type named Woody, and this is what it's initialized to, and I have a dollar. So type definitions really help with someone reading code with you be able to think, exactly. You don't even have to think something's of type integer. You know something's of type dollar, so you know you're trying to symbolize dollars, or it can be really easy to make code easier if you're doing exact applications. So say you're doing a bank account, you can literally have a variable that says bank account ID, which is just an integer, but then you can think about it, oh, those are the bank account IDs. And so that's really cool. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you can use typedef. Another thing is that I am uploading examples to GitHub constantly, and feel free to go on my GitHub link. I'll put it in the description below. Thank you, and have a great day.